Wow, that was something. I'm going to be reacting to every single episode of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and here is the reaction and thoughts on episode 1. First of all, they were introducing a bunch of the ladies of Mom Talk, and a lot of them were saying, we're part of the original group of Mom Talk. Where are these ladies? Okay, I know they're not in the show, but you're not going to start gaslighting us, for people who have been here since like day 1, about who was in the original Mom Talk, okay? Secondly, I feel like the show is gonna be a lot of drama about the ladies complaining about the consequences of their own actions, which I know isn't different from a lot of reality TV, but like that seems to be 100% of the problems so far. Are, oh man, my life's so hard. It's like, well then stop swinging, stop having sex with your new boyfriend. I mean, I guess stop drinking all the time. That could solve some things. Whitney, okay, her husband. I'm gonna talk to him in a second. But when they first tried champagne in their new house and they were like, ew, this is disgusting, relatable, okay? I have yet to have an alcoholic drink that tasted good. And in fact, I actually decided I'm not gonna drink alcohol for health reasons, but also taste reasons and cost reasons. It costs so much, why? But don't forget, Jesus was a drinker, okay? Jesus liked wine. So don't be like, oh, that's proof. No, Jesus liked his red wine, okay? Then a message to Connor, the husband, and then the husband of Michaela, Jace, or something like that. It's really easy not to do stuff, okay? It's very simple. It's very easy not for that to turn into going on Tinder and cheating on your wife. It's actually quite simple. So no, he wasn't confused or whatever. He cheated on you. And people can change, and people can, be like, yeah, that was wrong, and not do it again. But hey, let's not be making excuses for your husband. He cheated on you. He lied. That's bad. He wasn't confused, okay? And it wasn't because of porn. It's because he was wanting to cheat on you, okay? It's not porn's fault. It's also very easy not to date a 16-year-old when you're 21. What are we doing? All right, that's episode 1. Episode 2, gonna watch that and come back for that one. All right, just got done with episode 2. Let's talk about it. And yes, there's gonna be spoilers. That's just how it's gonna go. And I am gonna do one for every episode today. They're all out today. So let's get going. First thing I want to talk about, Whitney has some reservations about selling a sex toy or promoting a sex toy on her socials. And she talks about it with her mom and her sister. And you know what? I actually thought this conversation was really, really good because it showcased the mom's point of view, which was obviously more conservative. Whitney talked about how she thinks the sex toy thing could be good, just less shaming around sex, and to just bolster what she said about Utah sex ed. I had the same exact experience seeing other sex ed things where like there's the banana in the condom and being like, wow, movies are crazy. They make things like so unbelievable. No, that's actually what like normal teenagers were learning. In Utah, it was like, don't have sex. It's literally the Mean Girl scene. At the very end of that conversation, the mom said, we don't agree on everything, and that's okay. And you know what? Put that on a shirt, because that's a good way to live. A quick shout out to all the local places that were shown in there. We had Oteo, which is a fantastic, yummy place. We had the White Shanty, which is a beautiful place. And then we had Cactus and Tropicals, which, I mean, if you need a plant, go there. Okay? It's a wonderful, wonderful plant store. And they have all these cute pots and stuff. You need to go. Episode 2, it ends with all the drama and the baby shower, and Whitney's not there, and there's this queen bee fight off. So we're going to see how that goes. But episode 2 was 11 months after episode 1. Taylor is pregnant. Dakota seems to be kind of a dick, so we'll see how things go there. But, on to episode 3. This stuff, exhilarating. All right, episode 3 over, and man, have we reached a new level of on-camera drama. Let's talk about it. So first things first, we have a graduation party for long-haired Zach, who apparently had this long hair at the BY. I guess they're changing hairstyle rules, but whatever. And there's some beef, because one of the ladies and her husbands, they bring alcohol to this party, and this party is at a very active Mormon's house, and there are some feelings about that, and that plays a role later on in the episode. And you know what? I'm not faulting Jen, who's Zach's husband, for being upset that they brought alcohol to this active family member's home. I am personally of the opinion, and if you disagree, that's fine. My personal opinion is if someone invites you to your home and if they have certain rules and values about drinking certain things or eating certain things or something, then either you ask if it's fine if you do something else, or you just don't do it. And I know adults are adults and you can be like, what? But it's a respect thing. And that's just my personal opinion on it. Anyways, let's keep going. And at this graduation party, what did they have to drink? They had Thirst, aka one of the many soda shops there in Utah. And it wasn't Swick or so delicious. I was like, Thirst? Okay, but because they're like a family friend. But shout out to Thirst, you're getting your pub. So then after that, we have Jen and Zach's baby, Luca, is having a baby blessing. And Jen, after this party, was like, well, there's actually some people that I don't want to come because they're not Mormon or spiritual enough to be at this very sacred spiritual thing. So I gotta uninvite some of the ladies. It just goes so poorly. It goes so poorly. It does kind of divide the mom talk into saints and sinners. That's what the name of the episode is. And to help you out, I wrote it down. We got the saints over here, okay? We got Macy, Whitney, Jen, Michaela, who all profess to be at least higher than a 9 out of 10 on the Mormon scale, because Demi called herself a 9 out of 10 Mormon, and these ladies were like, what? If you're a 9 out of 10, then I'm a 12 out of 10. And I mean, come on now. And then the sinners are Taylor, Demi, Layla, and Jesse. And those four were all uninvited. They were invited and then uninvited. That's tough to do. And so we see on camera what the saints do that day and what the sinners do that day. And what the sinners do that day, they go bowling at Jack and Jill's. Shout out Jack and Jill's, went there all the time growing up. And because it was on Sunday, it was completely empty. So if you need to go bowling on a Sunday, apparently Jack and Jill's is the place to go. But the sinners here, they're just like, what the heck, we were uninvited. That's so lame. We're going to have fun. We're going to go bowling. The saints, they have this very spiritual thing. And Jen was like, I'm so happy I didn't invite those sinners. It would have been like so much worse. But I think what this episode did was show the hypocrisy that is shown in here. Because before this baby blessing, there was a Valentine's Day party where Demi held it, and guess who she invited? Not only the sinners, but also the saints, plus other friends. And it was actually Whitney who did this joke that Demi really didn't like, and there was this weird passive-aggressive everything going on with this group. But I think just objectively, and I understand my view is what it is, but like objectively, this squad right now seems a lot nicer overall than this squad. And this is the saints, and these are the sinners. So, but this episode did a good job at showing the divide that the saints have. My bad, paper. That the saints have of being like, we don't want to be associated with them, but the sinners were fine being associated with them. Interesting. On to episode 4. Just finished episode 4. We are officially halfway through, and my goodness, are things heating up. So Mom Talk goes up to Park City to celebrate Macy's birthday. And if there's anything that any Bravo baddie knows, is that you don't take the group to celebrate your birthday as a group, okay? Especially when someone brings out a game idea. Why are we playing games that really deal with like truth and stuff? That just reminds me of when Whitney Rose on Real Housewives of Salt Lake played that prickly or whatever game and things got crazy. Who would have imagined? Everybody watching, okay? And so to no surprise, this didn't turn out so well. They played this truth box game where they put in questions anonymously, and all of them were like, so why do you hate this person, or who do you hate the most here? And man, were things said and feelings were hurt. And there's one thing that we've learned 4 episodes in, and I don't know if it's the producers, I don't know if it's the editors, I don't know if it's just real life, but Whitney likes to talk the shit, but doesn't like to get the shit talking back, okay? And you know how I feel about people like that. You've seen it on here on the page. Not a fan. Well, I also think it's funny, just personally, I think this is funny, when a Mormon swears. I just think it's silly, okay? I just think it's funny. We got these 9 out of 10, 12 out of 10 Mormons up here just saying the F word and stuff. But you know who one person who is not swearing is Jen, because we had the most Mormon sentence ever in this episode. She said, quote, "Oh shiz, I forgot my garments," end quote. That's straight out of Provo. That is just completely on brand. But we got this big beef going on right now with Demi or Demi. They keep saying it like it's Demi, but I don't know if they're just saying it fast, but it looks like Demi. So I'm going to say Demi unless someone in the comments will tell me it's actually Demi. They don't say Demi. But for Demi versus Whitney, boom, boom, boom. And we also have Taylor and Whitney, and I guess they've had beef for like 2 years, but Whitney just hasn't said anything. Whitney, just say it. You're saying it to everybody else. Just say it to Taylor. But are you scared of Taylor? Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? And we finally first have heard about the RSV video. The with the sick kid in the back. Whatever the intention is, not a great look. Then, now, and in the future. I'm gonna say it doesn't get better. So maybe don't make videos with sick children in the back in the hospital. That's a good lesson for everybody. But yeah, right now, heading into episode 5, we just got beef with everyone, but especially Whitney and like everyone, it seems like. Whitney's just talking about people behind their back, and then people bring it up in front of her face, and she's like, what? No. Whitney, come on. You're gonna say stuff. Be able to hear it back and be like, yeah, I said that. And my bad, if you feel bad. But it's just, okay. We got half a season left, and I have to admit, this is more drama than I thought there was gonna be. And I'm here for it. I admit it. Welcome to the Saturday afternoon session recaps of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. This is episode 5. In this episode, we have Whitney leaving the Mom Talk group chat because she loves the drama, even though she keeps saying that she hates the drama. And she likes the attention, even though she says she doesn't care about the attention. And she has a lot of big feelings, even though she keeps saying she doesn't have a lot of big feelings. Whitney's not doing great, okay? A good example of her not doing great is that Layla's throwing a divorce party. A divorce party at 22, you know what? She knows what she wants, and it's not what she currently has. So she got a divorce. She's having this big old divorce party. She's given, it's like a funeral for her past relationship. And who comes? Whitney comes, and she wasn't even in the group chat to get invited, but she ends up coming, so maybe she was invited in a different space that we didn't see on camera, because it did seem like she just kind of popped out of nowhere. And she takes Jesse aside, because Jesse was saying stuff in the last episode, right? When we were up in Park City, it was Demi and Jesse saying things about Whitney. And so Whitney takes Jesse aside and says, hey, kind of like, what's up? And Jesse speaks her mind, and Whitney is upset. She does not like what she hears. She's popping off. She's crying. She's swearing. And she leaves early. So she came seemingly uninvited and then leaves early, making it about her, something that she seems to do a lot. At least that's what it looks like. Layla, low-key, might be my favorite. She's hilarious. She doesn't talk a lot, or at least her lines aren't shown a lot, but when she does talk, she's so funny. So she's hilarious, and I think she's the youngest one in the group. So she's very wise too. So she's just proving that wisdom isn't an age thing, but she's just killing it. I think she's hilarious. We also have a moment where Macy goes over to talk to Dakota, because Dakota and Macy have beef. Macy doesn't like how Dakota treats Taylor, and Dakota is like, Macy doesn't like photos on Instagram, whereas me and you, Taylor, that's real petty. He doesn't really like Macy's vibe. So she comes over to try to hash things out, but while she's doing that, Taylor and Dakota get into another fight. I swear, every episode there's them fighting. And so they get into another fight, and Macy's just like sitting there like, should I be here for this? I don't know. And yeah, they get in a big fight, and we were left just to be like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? And so episode 5 is laying down some foundation work for upcoming stuff. So we'll see how this goes. Episode 6. We've hit a new level. First things first, Whitney unfollows everybody on Mom Talk on Instagram. Okay, whatever. But let's get to the meat of the episode, okay? The ladies go to Vegas to celebrate a birthday. Again, birthday group things, they're rarely a good idea on these types of shows. The ladies take a limo or something, a party, something, to Chippendales. And only Jesse knew that they were going to Chippendales. And on their way, we learn about Zach and Jen. Jen is worried because Zach, apparently, she just knows is going to freak out that she's going to Chippendales. So she goes briefly to Chippendales. A little pre-show VIP thing where they put the oil on the guys, and they're out in the lobby. And Jen gets a phone call from Zach. And Zach is just being the absolute worst. He's questioning her character. He's questioning her as a person and making her cry. He's just being a bum. And this is what we've learned about Zach up until this point. we know that Zach is out gambling, playing poker. A big no-no within Mormonism. And if anyone comes to challenge and say, just go to the website. Go to the church's website. It says that the church is opposed. So Zach is out there gambling, doing something that the church is like, you shouldn't do that. That is a bad thing to do. And then calls his wife and is like, I don't love you anymore. You're not a good mom. You have no morals and values. You are a bad example to our kids. What? Bro, what are you doing? And keep in mind that we saw them before they went to Vegas, and they had this conversation about Zach's gambling problems. And Zach is bankrolled by his wife. His wife gives him, because she's the breadwinner, she gives him $2,500 to go play with. Bro, your wife is giving you money because you have none. We learned later on that you had some that wasn't meant for gambling, but she used it to gamble. Sir, what are you doing? And he just goes off on Jen and makes her feel like complete garbage. And he sends her this text where if you're on Reddit and stuff, people have zoomed in on the screenshot. He says some awful stuff. He said a slur as well in this text. And he was just awful to his wife, who is paying all the bills, who is raising basically their children and gave birth to the children. And you're over here gambling, playing poker, and shaming your wife for doing nothing. She didn't go by herself. She didn't know where she was going. And you're so upset. It's actually disgusting. This is when reality TV goes from like, oh, this is silly, rant, 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 to like, that's abuse. That's horrible. And the worst part, not the worst part, but a horrible part is that Jen talks about this as if like this happens. Not that this is like some crazy one-off thing, but like that this is normal enough that it's like, oh, this is when he does this. That's not normal. That's not normal. That's not healthy. That's not normal in healthy relationships. So yeah, episode 6 was a train wreck. All right, welcome to the final recap video. We're going to do episodes 7 and 8, the season finale, in the same video. We have the fallout, even more fallout from the Chippendales situation. And Zach is capital B, capital U, capital M behavior. What is he up to? He basically had Jen come over, and who knows what they talked about at 1, 2 in the morning. But according to Jen, everything's fine now. But the girls aren't having that. The girls, especially Jesse and me, are not having it. And they are just letting Jen know. And it's an intense conversation to have, not just in public, but also on camera. So I feel like that could have been handled differently. But this is the show. So Jen is hearing it from her mom talk friends that he's not the right guy, that this narcissistic behavior is, and the pattern of it is not normal and it's not good. And they're trying to warn her, and it's really affecting Jen. She was not having a good time. Then Dakota is having his own issues. It was Zach and Dakota were the boys that came to Vegas. They weren't invited, but they still came, and both of them ruined this trip. Dakota just can't let Taylor be by herself for more than like 12 hours, it seems like. So he rolls up to the house, he gets into the house, does this little move and gets up to Taylor. And Dakota needs therapy. He needs help, okay? And to do all this on camera is just messy. It's their decision, so I'm going to talk about it. It's just messy. It's just so messy. These boys need help. One note on Whitney. They show Whitney hearing what happened with Zach and Jen, and this is Whitney's time to step back and let Zach be the worst one in this show, which I still think that he is, but just like the clear worst one. And then she takes his side. She's like, well, probably true. Girl, this was your chance to like be on the right side of something finally this season, and you literally did not. You fumbled the easiest opportunity. Whitney, what is going on? What is going on? And speaking of Whitney going into episode 8, she's been excommunicated from mom talk, okay? They're just like, we don't understand what's going on. She also announces her pregnancy to her family by putting her used pregnancy test into a perfectly fine cake. And as someone who loves cake, I would have been so mad if I showed up and I was like, oh my gosh, we have this wonderful cake, and all of a sudden there's this peed-on stick in the middle of it. I ain't getting close to that cake. No one's getting close to that cake. That's a waste of a cake. And you know what? I feel like that just kind of summarizes Whitney's impact on this season. And then Whitney also does not go to Macy's baby mama launch party, which is a big deal for Macy. And Macy is the only one that's ever sticking up for Whitney. And she just decides not to show up, making Macy upset, understandably. And then all the girls do a coordinated unfollow of Whitney at the countdown at her party, which I just think is hilarious. Strategizing and planning, because they're like, you know what, we're just done with the antics. But you know who's not done with the antics? Whitney. And we'll get to that in a second. But first, Macy also confronts Dakota. They finally have a one-on-one where there's not going to be a fight with Dakota and Taylor because Taylor's not there. So it's just Macy and Dakota, because Macy has been hearing stuff about this potential Jenna girl. Who is this secret Jenna? Who maybe had some history with Dakota that Dakota's not being truthful about? That's the cliffhanger we're left on at the end of the episode, because Dakota denies. But Macy does not trust Dakota, so she ends up calling Jenna. Who is Jenna? So Michaela has her birthday party at the Classic Fun Center, which I would be terrified about. I hate rollerblading and skating, but happy that Michaela likes it enough to have her party there. And guess who shows up? Whitney. And when she walks in, she has this smug look on her face like, yeah, I'm here. Girl, you think you're the star, you're not the star. You think you're the center of attention, you're not. And if you are getting attention, it's not good. This frankly was the worst way that you could put yourself out into the public on camera. I don't know who, in person, your vibe or whatever, but on camera and what you're showing the world, bad. It's not good. And everyone's like, why is she here? Michaela's like, this is my freaking birthday, and you're making it about you. You're not supposed to be here. And Whitney sits down with Macy. He's like, my bad, this and this, blah, blah, blah. And Macy's like, I'm pissed. And Whitney's like, I get it. Like, Whitney, all you had to do was show up to your friend's business's thing, your launch party. And then you came to the birthday party. And you're just making it about you. And it's so annoying. It's just so annoying. We also see a clip of Jen and Zach in New York. And we have a sit down with Zach and Jen. And Jen is like, I want to maybe take a year in between we go to New York, maybe medical school, to think about it. I want to stay here and use all my friends and my family. And Mom Talk are here. I care about Mom Talk. And you know what Zach says? He says, I do not care. Zach is also the worst. Whitney and Zach are trying to beat each other out for who is the bummiest bum here. Again, my personal opinion on like a human level is Zach. Reality TV wise, it's either Zach or Whitney, but on a human level, beyond the show, Zach is a problem. But we see them in New York, and we don't know what the future holds with them in terms of if they're going to move there officially, or if they're just like out there seeing it. But Zach is like, it's my way or the highway. And Jen is the one making all the money and doing all. I don't understand. I don't get it. But I'm writing about it. You'll see my thoughts on Tuesday, because golly, this is just awful. But we do leave a cliffhanger with Macy calling this mysterious Jenna gal, and it sets up a perfect season 2. Heading in, I was like, this will be season 1 and done. I think season 2 is right around the corner. We want to know who Jenna is. We want to know some of these answers to these questions. But my goodness, this was quite the show that had laughs, then some serious, real observations about Mormonism and men in Mormonism. Again, I'm writing about this on Tuesday. Well, I'm writing about it right now. You can read it on Tuesday. But it highlighted some awful things. And for that, I think that's good. Shining some light on that. So thanks for joining on these recaps over the last 3 days. It's been a wild ride, but I hope you enjoyed them.